I'm Bob Trask, and this is our weekly reset. This is an opportunity that you have and that I have to come together every week and figure out what we need to do within ourselves as growing people, as growing consciousnesses, to be more available, to be more responsive, and to be better able to handle the pressures of life so that we can not only be more successful, but be more joyful during every week. And every week it grows, every week it gets better. So always be with us for these weekly resets. Now, let's start with our meditation. If you'll just get yourself comfortable wherever you are, perhaps close your eyes, and then begin to breathe, if you will, gently, gently, gently in through your nose. And as you breathe, allow yourself to know that you're breathing the presence of the universe. The presence of divinity. There is grace flowing into you with each breath. Each breath is a breath of grace. And that grace we call oxygen is flowing through thousands of miles of blood vessels to enrich and enliven each of the 40 trillion cells in your body. And as those cells come alive, they smile and they communicate with one another through their individual songs, so that your whole body is becoming a chorus, a choir of those angelic voices. Letting you know that you are loved and safe. Blessed. And free. Let each breath in through your nose be a blessing. And around you, just feel, if you will, a soft, warm presence surrounding you and caressing you and letting you know that all is well and that you are right now where you're supposed to be, and that your life is unfolding exactly as it should. that presence around you and flowing into you with each breath, that divine beloved is communicating with you if you can hear it. It's saying to you, you are loved. You are blessed. You are safe. You are free. If you will know that, then you will know that who you are, exactly as you are, not who you sometimes pretend to be, is as perfect and as natural as the vast ocean, the towering mountains, the wind-swept Alps, and a gentle red-tailed hawk hanging on the wind over the desert. You are you. Today's talk is becoming truly alive. Becoming truly alive. So this you that you're feeling right now, this is who you are. When you come back to us, bring this you back and come on back. Becoming truly alive. There's so much going on around you and around me that it's easy for us to get swept up in it and to forget that we are who we are. And that our very first obligation in any lifetime is to be true to ourselves. To be true to ourselves, our true selves, capital S, self, not who others want me to be, but who I am. So what does it mean to be myself? It means to stop living in reaction to other people and to society and to society's expectations. Those social pressures have been trying to reshape us from the very earliest of our memories. And then in doing so, in that shaping and that pushing and that molding of us, they've systematically distorted how we see ourselves. Because after a while, we begin to believe that the image of who we are is who we are. I remember a dear lady who came to one of my seminars many, many years ago. And she was, quite frankly, she was really a beautiful woman. But she had put makeup on with a pancake turner. She had such deep makeup. And when I talked to her, she said, I never go out of my bathroom without my makeup on. No one sees me without my makeup on. No one. For as long as I can remember. And I can tell you something, in 5 days of working with her in the seminar, I was unable to change that. I tried, boy, I tried. I tried to get her to see the gem that she was inside of that. It wasn't happening. So she puts on thick makeup on her face because she doesn't think that her just natural face, and like I said, she really was a remarkably beautiful woman. She didn't think that just who she was underneath that was okay. No, you and I, without knowing it, we put on makeup without even thinking about it. We the way you put on a shirt or a blouse and you say, no, this doesn't go with that. Why did you choose that shirt or that blouse to begin with? Because you were attracted to it, or were you just grabbing something out of the closet? But if you were attracted to it, why not wear it? Because it doesn't go with something else that you're wearing, your skirt or your pants. It doesn't quite go, or whatever. I mean, what's wrong with just being you? What's wrong with just feeling that this is what I want to wear and this is how I want to look? Maybe you don't want to wear any makeup today. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with the real you, just the way you really look? What's wrong with the real you, just the way you want to talk, the way you want to speak? Somebody in the earlier seminar today said that when I listen to other people, when I watch who they are, when I really pay attention to who they are, and I really look for the real them inside of them, when I look for that jewel of truth inside of them, it then becomes easier for me to be who I am with them and with others. This takes trust, doesn't it? If I say this, if I express myself in this way, if I sing on the subway or the bus, if I be me, is it okay? Well, sometimes it isn't okay because sometimes we're actually disturbing other people, or sometimes we're actually cutting into other people's sense of themselves, and that wouldn't be okay. But mostly that's not the case. Mostly we're just afraid of being rejected or judged. Rita Mae Brown said, I think the reward for conformity is that everyone likes you except yourself. Can you remember who you were before people told you who you should be, how you should be different? Can you remember that? That our individuality is hard to maintain, increasingly hard to maintain, because nearly everyone on this planet is judging, is figuring out how others should improve their looks, their manners, and their behavior, and how they should acquiesce to what the world sees as acceptable. And only people who just don't give a damn about anyone else are immune to that peer pressure. Anyone who really cares about others is feeling that pressure. And it takes some work. I think you'll agree with me. It takes some work to be able to be who I am, to be totally me, even with that pressure on, and to feel that pressure and to not react to it rudely or crudely, but with gentleness and with love, and still daring to be me. So then how do we deal with that pressure without losing ourselves, without losing our beautiful, unique individualities? Because we do need to pay some attention, don't we, to what others think, because we're not those who just don't give a damn. Dr. Gordon Flett, a professor at York University and author of Psychology of Mattering, says that knowing we matter to others is necessary for our human nourishing. He says that mattering is a component of well-being. It's being accepted by a group. And Dr. Isaac Prelatinsky, professor of University in Miami and co-author of How People Matter, and an expert in mental health and well-being, says that in order to stay mentally and emotionally balanced, we must know we matter to those around us. I think most of those esteemed doctors of psychology would agree that people who feel they matter experience more self-compassion, better relationship satisfaction, greater belief in themselves. And those who have a lack of mattering are more associated with burnout, self-criticism, anxiety, depression, even an increased risk of suicide. And those are the downsides of not mattering to others. And that may be why we're so fixated on being what we think others want us to be. And how then can we split that? How can we be in balance? How can we maintain our individuality and still gain the acceptance and the appreciation of others? How can we do that? Well, here's the thing. There's 8 billion of us on the planet right now, and we're each individually and unique. Like, no one has your eye print, no one else has your thumbprint, no one has the neuronal pattern of your body, no one has your voice print, no one else. You're the only one. And of all those people, all those 8 billion people on the planet, you being you, means that we are like 8 billion pieces of a holographic jigsaw puzzle. And when I'm being me, I fit in with the rest of them just fine. And when I'm not being me, then I don't fit in. Then I have to pretend. I have to make it up. I have to plaster on the makeup, or we'll make very carefully how I dress, or how I talk, or how I walk, or how I dance, whatever. The car I drive, house I live in, what I plant in my yard. I have to be so careful that it'll be acceptable by others. But when I can just be me, when I'm really inside of myself, inside of my truth, then I'm acceptable. I'm automatically acceptable by the universe. Like, there's no tree out in that giant forest with trillions and trillions of trees. There's no two trees alike, and there's no one tree that says, oh my goodness, I think I have to be more like the other trees. No, because they make up the forest, and we make up the human family. Michelle B. said, when we're fully in our truth, and we literally stand up and say, hey, here I am, fully. More and more what happens is people just come to you. Because when your soul is in your body, your soul tribe comes. And when you're fully you, it can, because you're at the vibration of those people, instead of the vibration of people around you who you think you're trying to please. When we were kids, our parents coached us along the lines they saw as acceptable, didn't they? And for the most part, that was wise coaching, because it taught us things like to have good manners, to be honest, to have a good work ethic, to be compassionate with others. Now, to be honest, that's what some parents do, but I'm starting to believe that many parents can't teach those things, because those good manners, strong ethic, work ethics, courage, honesty, compassion, they're not attributes that they themselves possess. When we raise kids that have solid foundations within them, and love for who they are, for how they express life, and they look forward to expressing life in more exciting and creative ways, they handle rejection without being rejected. They're not bothered by peer pressures that tell them they're not okay. So yes, it's necessary for us to become beneficial members of society, but when beneficial means changing the very fabric of who we are, then it's self-destructive and it just doesn't work. Not only are we then constantly out of balance, we find it more and more difficult to be beneficial to others. Increasingly difficult also to find joy in our daily life or to be satisfied with who we are. L. McNichol said, it's better to be open about who you really are, what you really like, and to be disliked by a few than it is to hide who you are and be tolerated by many. So here's some questions for you and for me. Are you completely satisfied with who you are and who you're becoming? Do you wish there was something different about you that would allow you to fit in better with society, with family, or with friends? And are you holding yourself back because you fear being neglected, rejected, or unloved? Do you think the true you is not exactly acceptable just as it is? Psychology Today magazine, which I think is just really an excellent magazine on psychological living well, published an article by psychologist and author Dr. Guy Winch that says, we don't trust those who are not genuinely being themselves. We don't trust them. He says we find those people unappealing because what we're looking for in each other is an individual strength of character, an emotional resilience. He says we want to feel their uniqueness and their distinctiveness. Then what was the heck was the purpose of our elders, of our teachers, of our society, of our pastors and priests trying to hammer and shape us on the forges of social demand to comply with some artificial identity? What was so wrong with just being the true selves that we were born to be? But it's never too late to have a happy childhood. It's never too late for us to correct those things, because inside of us, there's a well upspringing of reality. Who you are is shouting up like flowers in a spring hillside, coming up and saying, hear me, see me, let me be. And all we have to do is just get out of the way. Here are 4 ideals which Dr. Winch says is a person who has the courage to move beyond those expectations and still gain the respect of others. Number 1, be truly alive and be able to speak your mind without needing to convince others that you're right. Number 2, follow your heart. Number 3, follow your internal compass to self-fulfillment, to self-realization. The greatest leaders in human history didn't comply with somebody else's needs for them to be a certain way. They followed their internal compasses, even when they were being rejected by their families and their communities. Among those world changers were Dr. Martin Luther King, Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Jesus, Jane Goodall, Buddha, Mikhail Gorbachev, Margaret Mead, Nelson Mandela. These people were always truly alive, and they were not afraid of failing in front of others because they knew that failure is a necessary part of any worthwhile journey. It's a source of learning, of growing, and of becoming all they could be. So they couldn't allow themselves to be embarrassed by failing, because they were always building self-confidence, and truly alive people are always building self-confidence and truly self-worth. They're not threatened by their imperfections because they know that life has no destination. Life has no destination. It doesn't. It's a journey. It's always a journey. We choose the path of that journey not by apologizing for who we are, but by becoming truly alive as the beings we were born to be. You are so beautiful. You just don't know that, maybe. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. You're beautiful. You are beautiful. And you are loved and blessed and safe and free. And the universe around you cherishes you because of your uniqueness and your individuality, because there's never been nor ever will be another you. You're the only one. Emily McDowell tells us this: finding yourself is not really how it works. You aren't a $10 bill in last winter's coat pocket. You're also not lost. Your true self is right here, buried under cultural conditioning, other people's opinions, and inaccurate conclusions you drew as a kid that became your beliefs about who you are. Finding yourself, says Emily, is actually returning to yourself. It's an unlearning. It's an excavation. It's a remembering of who you were before the world got its hands on you. Let's go forward this week and find every way we can to celebrate our own individuality and to celebrate the individuality in each other. Let's let each person around us know that we're not only listening to them, we're hearing them. We're not only looking at them, we're seeing them. Let's let their individuality be safe to come out around us. And then we begin to trust our own unique individuality and allow it to shine forth into the world, so that we become a part of the solution to all the problems rather than a part of the problem. I thank you for joining me today. It's always an honor spending time with you. Please tell your friends about this weekly reset, and please get them on board with us. And if you enjoyed today's message, would you please do me a favor? Will you please go to my website, bobtrask.com, and up in the upper right-hand corner, there's a donate button, and just share with me what you can so that I can keep this weekly reset going. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for your support. I love you. Now, for the next half hour, we're going to have a group discussion and a question and answers and talk about today's message. Or if you need to go, feel free to go. And then we'll see you next week. Be well and know that you're loved just exactly the way you are.